Welcome to the CyberFed Show. I'm Dan Manson. I teach computer information systems at Cal Poly Pomona. Each week, this broadcast will cover the world of cybersecurity competitions, similar to a sports show. We believe cybersecurity competitions are like a sport. In these shows, we drill down into competitions and provide stories, scores, and statistics. We believe those that participate in competitions are cyber athletes with the same training, passion, and coolness, plus a few additions. The opportunities for these athletes to go pro is much greater. And in our world today, we are falling behind our real competition. This week, we begin a 4-part series of CyberFed coverage from the Cyber Patriot National Finals in Baltimore, Maryland. In the first segment, we talk with 2 student competitors, Kent Ma from the Poolsville, Maryland high school team that finished 3rd in the Open Division and 1st in the Leidos Digital Forensics Competition and Facebook Challenge, and Monica Vogel from Centurion Battalion in Winter Park, Florida, the national champions in the All-Service Division.
What's special about these competitions that you don't get taking classes?
A lot of these have more industry level problems and challenges. So in the classroom, a lot of it's more controlled, whereas in a competition, stuff often goes wrong or stuff just doesn't work the way it does in a classroom. There's no structure for teaching.
You like dealing with uncertainty?
Yeah, I like dealing with new things that I can't expect. So I learn more from that than from a structured curriculum.
You start playing in competitions?
I actually started my freshman year with Mr. Esep's Intro to Computer Science class. At first, it was Pico CTF, which was a Carnegie Mellon hosted competition that they just started that year. And at first, we were doing it as a class, just a first few problems, just to learn the basics. But I blew through all the basic problems, and I realized I could do so much more than that. Because originally, I actually wasn't planning on going to computer science at all. It was just a side hobby for me, and I really wanted to do some other field, and then that kind of just...
How old were you when you started playing Pico CTF?
That was my freshman year, so 4 years from now, 14, 13. I don't remember the exact age.
What is it about a CTF that you like?
Well, honestly, I like seeing myself on the top of the scoreboard.
Is it something like a sport to you?
Yeah, I like the competitive environment, especially when my name is up on the top of the scoreboard.
Or your team's name?
Yeah.
I actually started in middle school, but I started because of him. He does cybersecurity, and he was like, hey, you get to do computer stuff. And I was like, whoa. And so I started to love it, and it became really, really, really fun, and now I want to do it as a career.
What do you like about it?
Well, I love that it not only teaches you about the cyber world, but it also exposes you to different types of parts of the cyber world. Like there's Cisco, there's securing networks, there's securing the actual operating systems, and there's also the fact that we can put it to the test every time we have a competition.
When you're in a competition, do you feel like you're playing a sport?
Oh yeah, definitely. And I play serious sports, and I get the same nerve-wracking senses when I'm doing cybersecurity things, like, oh, the red team is going to get on to my box as, are we going to score a goal?
Are the students getting something that is equivalent to what they would do if they were actually working in cybersecurity?
Absolutely. It's absolutely correct.
And, even if you're not doing cyber, it teaches you critical thinking skills. It teaches you to look at things from a different perspective. It teaches you to work under pressure, to incorporate different people's skill points and what they do well at, and to achieve a common goal.
I'll just add to that Jesse was on our national finals team 2 years ago. I took him as a summer intern with my employer, Black & Veatch, last year. And now he's working for us part-time while he's in college, helping to secure critical infrastructure. So yeah, it's very easy to port this into something that provides for a solid future.
On your team, you have 5 players. How many girls, how many boys?
So there's 2 girls, and there's actually 4 boys, but we only have 5 competing at a time.
I describe this as a co-ed team competition sport, and it's not based on how fast you can run, how far you can hit a ball. It's based on what's between your ears, but it's also what you do together. Any difference on the team, playing as a boy, playing as a girl? Does that ever come up?
I mean, I hear it a lot since there's definitely, it's mostly boys, but I think we interact just as well with everyone else.
Any advantage in being a girl on a team?
Well, I mean, coming from a girl, I think we're smarter, but aside from that, I think actually females generally understand the human aspect better, and especially when you're at the highest competition, when we're fighting against the red team, you have to understand the human part of it. And so when I'm looking at the computer screen, I know that who's looking on the other side of the screen, it's not just a computer, it's another person, and what they're thinking definitely matters, and how I should secure the machine.
What do you want to do in college?
I haven't really decided beyond just majoring in computer science. I just want to have, since I'm going to NYU, I'll be able to organize CSAL and work on setting up the challenges to be even more interesting than they currently are.
So you plan to be involved with the college competitions?
Yes.
What do you say to a kid just starting middle school that maybe has some of the same passions that you had back then? Is middle school an age we can start having kids go down this road?
Yes. Actually, there's a funny story about that. So in middle school, there's the Roberto Clemente Computer Magnet program, and I got rejected from that. So after I got rejected, I was a little down at first, but then I realized like it didn't really matter whether or not I got into the magnet program or not, because like I could just learn it on my own. So that's what I ended up doing. I ended up researching as much as I could, learning as much about programming and computer science on the side as I could while doing my classes. And the result of that was I came into freshman year and I ended up surprisingly knowing a lot more than some of the Roberto Clemente kids, because they got forced into the curriculum. They didn't want to do it.
So this is your 3rd year.
Yes, sir.
And you have 3 more years. What does playing in CyberPatriot for 6 years before college do for you?
Not only do I think that the experience helps, but I also think it's going to change a lot. I mean, it's definitely getting more popular, and there's going to be an exponential increase in the amount of things that are going on in the cyber world. So even the time frame that I'm doing it within will help me gain a better understanding of everything in the cyber world.
Do you feel like you're a cyber athlete?
I do like to consider myself a cyber athlete.
How many hours a week did you prepare getting ready for the finals?
So we would have, on the weekends we would have 8-hour practices. I tried to work on it on my own, and we'd have practices during the week sometimes.
If I were to go to someone in 7th grade and try and get them motivated about CyberPatriot, what would be the way that you think would really matter in terms of what to say to them?
I'd probably tell them that it gets to be really fun and nerve-wracking. I mean, I think the most fun part about a sport is the adrenaline rush that you get, and I've found that I get the same rush during CyberPatriot and during cyber competitions, and it's definitely like a sport. So that's probably what I would tell them.
Please go to our CyberFed YouTube channel to view all current and past episodes. I'm Dan Manson. See you next week.